Hello, my name is Ray Naylor, and this is The Performing Songwriter. My guest today is Gregg Cagno. Gregg has a number of accomplishments under his belt, including two-time ASCAP Plus Award Winner in the folk genre and finalist in the New Folk competition at the Kerrville Folk Festival. He has opened for many well-known performers, including Pete Seegar, James Taylor, and Poco. Earlier this month, he opened for the band America at the Birchmere. I'll be back in a minute to talk to Gregg, and we'll hear a number of his songs. Gregg, thanks a lot for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Ray.
And I want to ask you, you've been performing for a long time, and what made you decide to be a performing songwriter, not just a songwriter, and to talk a little bit about the ups and downs of doing that.
Okay. Well, I think it was a combination of two influences that pushed me in that direction, mostly. I mean, everyone's influenced by the first time they hear the Beatles and stuff, but I heard a guy playing on the boardwalk in Ocean City, New Jersey. His name was Dave Hansel. I don't know where he is now, but hopefully he sees this. And he was writing his own songs, and that was the first guy who I had met who did that. And then when I saw John Gorka at Godfrey Daniels the first time, at an open mic actually, I realized he was doing it for a living, and I did, at the time hadn't even known that was a possibility. So I liked that idea a lot, and so I tried my hand at it, and you know, the ups and downs are it's a kind of a gypsy lifestyle, and you really have to, make it work on a low budget when you're starting out, and even once you're going, it's, if you're in it for the money, you should find something else. But the ups have definitely been, it's an amazing scene, supportive and friendly social outlet of my life, really. And I've all the great friends I have, almost all of them are from the music, all around the country. You get to visit all these people, and so it's, I've never questioned it. I've always just enjoyed it.
Okay. You do a lot of co-writing, so I thought for our songwriting topic today, talk a little bit about co-writing, and if somebody's interested in starting that, what kinds of things, what tips would you have for them, to make it an enjoyable experience, I guess.
I think the thing I enjoy the most about co-writing is the way it lets you get out of your own style a little bit. I mean, of course, you're going to bring your style to the table, but it's a nice influence of someone else's ideas and influences as well, and styles. And so it kind of takes your style, pushes your style to a different place. And so I've got a lot of songs I've written with my buddy Christian Bauman, but there's a handful of others I've written with over the years. And my old friend Don Brody from Hoboken, and who's no longer with us, unfortunately. But tips for that, I think just letting it happen organically, and it's not always going to be, you're not going to sit down in a room and have the ideas flowing and bang out a song line for line. It's going to come in spurts, just like it does normally when you're writing for yourself. And so I think the good way to approach it is just, share what you have with someone else, and you don't even have to be in the same room at first. And maybe you get together and try to finish it or something. But with email and Skype and all, everything available now, it's just a fun way to get it going, even if you can't get together. So
okay,
yeah.
We're going to have you do your first two songs.
Okay.
And we're going to set you up in the middle here, and while we're doing that, we're going to see a video for my next guest, the next show.
Oh, nice.
And her name is Sharon Goldman. And so we're going to watch that now, and then Gregg will be back with two songs.
It's 3 a.m. and I hear the rain. Reminds me of the sound of that downtown train. I saw his eyes as they closed the doors. I knew I wouldn't see them anymore. Sleep, sleep, you don't come easy. Oh, darkness of the night, you don't please me. I lie awake with my big mistake. Sometimes the pain is too hard to take.
Well, this song is one of the. I figure I'll do two co-writes because we're talking about the co-writing, and this song. I'm trying to remember what started it. I'm not real sure. I was working in New York City at the time, and I do remember I was doing like an AV tech job at a fancy hotel that day, and it was lovely, painted ceiling, fresco, and anyhow, I for some reason it conjured up the Michelangelo, and this image of Michelangelo, looking down and seeing the nuns when he was working, which they probably weren't even there. But that was what was in my mind, so I faxed that over to my buddy Christian Bauman, and we wrote this song over the fax machine, like I was saying. So this is called "The View from Here." Goes like this. Well, I asked Michelangelo how he could bear to lie on his back for months and stare at the ceiling he painted with particular care. He said the view of the nuns was amazing from there. The sight of the sisters in stark silent rows, fall of a paint drop, an upturned face from below. And the view from here, it takes your breath now, honey. View from here leaves you alone. View from here, it shuts you up now, honey. View from here, you're halfway home. Joan of Arc gave one last sigh. Ropes crossed her chest and the flames licked her eye. Crowd in the distance, no big surprise. Last view through to the by and by. Steam from her teardrops risol back and bent. Shake of her shoulder, she said, oh, that's what you meant. And the view from here, it takes your breath now, honey. View from here leaves you alone. View from here, it shuts you up now, honey. View from here, you're halfway home. End of the day, the end of the week, the end of the month, and a kiss on the cheek. View of the future, shaky at best, but the view of my love in a flower dress. Well, I don't know, but I've heard rumors fly. Satan himself when he said goodbye gave one last look round the heavenly sky, handed his wings to Michael and cried, no more will I know you, no more can we be friends, but the view of your face, my brother, I'll never forget. And the view from here, it takes your breath now, honey. View from here leaves you alone. View from here, it shuts you up now, honey. View from here, you're halfway home. Home. Just like that. All right. And the next song, I do another. Well, this one is my newest song, and I guess I mentioned this one as well. We were talking about co-writes happen in all different ways, and this was just an idea we kind of threw around and intended to get together and write a song, and we never really did. But just in emailing about it, my friend Casey Carey is his name, great writer from New Jersey, and so he had a great line that I threw in the bridge, and I wanted to write a song about, getting older. So this is this is called Living in the Middle Ages. Middle-aged in the middle of a midlife crisis, awake in the middle of the night. Even the sheep that I'm counting, they're starting to show wrinkles, they're graying and their abs are not as tight. I'm looking for an answer to an age-old question, hoping that I might see the light. Far from the first to have wondered where the hell all the time went. Won't be the last time I try and get it right. And I've crossed the midway point, I'm into my back pages, I'm creaking round this joint, I'm living in the Middle Ages. I'm getting junk mail already from the AARP and sign-up forms from Medicare. The envelope is pushing on my golden years, and the outlook's looking worse everywhere. My doctor's using lines like for a guy your age, and the eye test ain't as easy as before. I couldn't help but sing a refrain of Moon River when she asked me to stare down at the floor. And I've crossed the midway point, I'm into my back pages, I'm creaking round this joint, I'm living in the Middle Ages. And the mating in captivity, oh, the cages, things we discovered here in these Middle Ages. But I ain't dead just yet, and I ain't ready for no hearse. I must admit I'm getting older, but at least I'm getting worse. I'm hearing all the sounds that my father used to make, only now they're coming from my mouth. He visits in the mirror more and more each day as my features do more traveling south. It takes more tools each year to maintain these grounds. My body's warranties have begun to expire. I'm thinking 20 years ahead, 40 till I'm dead, and only 50 more until I can retire. And I've crossed the midway point, I'm into my back pages, I'm creaking round this joint, I'm living in the Middle Ages. I'm living in the Middle Ages. Just like that.
Now, people might probably, or they may have figured out that you were playing in some of the alternative tunings with their songs, and you do that a lot.
I do, yeah.
How does that influence your songwriting? Both melody and maybe even lyrics?
It gives me ideas that it takes me out of prevents me from writing the same song over and over again. I find myself going, if I'm in standard, it's that sound of GCD is just so appealing, or it's like you find yourself playing the same progressions, and when you go into these open tunings, you kind of have to make up new progressions as you go, and even if there aren't new progressions, they sound new, and so it kind of gives you an idea, and especially like you said with the melodies, it'll kind of point you in a direction that there's an internal harmony with the chords that kind of suggests itself, especially when I don't know what it is, it's mathematical, I'm sure, but like you'll hear this one nice dissonant pocket of the tuning that just kind of takes your mind and your melody somewhere else. And with the lyrics, it's more of a mood. You can kind of tell from I write both ways, but I mean I can tell from if I'm writing lyrics first, I can tell what the mood of the song is, and I'll try to match that with the tuning, more of the mood and the sound, the mood of the tuning. So the voicing, yeah.
Now, our performing topic today is playing in front of big audiences and how that affects nervousness or stress. Now, you've just played a week or so ago down at the Birchmere opening for the band America.
Yeah.
And I know you've probably played in other larger venues than a coffee house.
Sure.
So, do you ever get nervous? And if so, how do you handle that?
I do get nervous. I think it's good to get nervous. To an extent. You don't want to be shaking when you're up there, but I think having a little bit of butterflies it shows that you're invested in it, and you can kind of use that energy to your advantage, hopefully. And preparation is definitely just a thing to keep your nerves in check. If sure you can be nervous, but if you go in there and I don't always plan out my sets just to kind of keep it fresh, but if it's something like that, I knew exactly what I was going to play and exactly in what order, so I could move the show along and not have any dead air time, and that put my mind at ease. I had memorized the set in my head, but I actually wrote it down on a $5 bill in my pocket just in case I forgot. But I knew I'd be able to pull out. But I made a bet with myself for $5. If I forgot, I'd have to give the $5 away. But yeah, so I mean, and just taking some time right before you start to, just go get centered, breathe, make sure you've had enough water, and that's all you can do. And then a lot of times, like I said, that energy will work for you, and it's your responsibility to entertain an audience, though, right? And it's like you have to give them a show, and like say they are not required to listen to you. You have to make them want to listen to you. And so like having your act together and having a cohesive set, that really helps. So I mean, those are my tips.
Okay. We're going to hear your last two songs.
All right.
And again, while we're setting up here, we're going to look at a slide for some tips for songwriters.
Song about songwriting, and it's kind of instructional how to write your own rock anthem song. I thought it'd be amusing to make that into a formula, and irreverent as it may be. So this is called The Part That Repeats. Start off with a line about love gone bad. Make it specific, don't say the best I've ever had. She leaves in the first verse, oh, woe is me. Then take it to the chorus and milk the sympathy. This is the part that repeats over and over.
This is the part that repeats, so you remember. This is the part that repeats, and it's usually the title. This is the part that repeats. Then you sing about the things you've done since she split. Stuff you used to do together, but now it makes you feel like. Then a line about her perfume, maybe one about her cat. You all got dirty minds, I didn't mean that. This is the part that repeats, makes you wanna sing with me. This is the part that repeats, makes you wanna buy a CD. This is the part that repeats, and it's usually the title. This is the part that repeats. A 2-chord bridge in the minor that makes you strain like a whiner and sound so sad and alone. Then a solo on saxophone, low budget. Then you gotta wrap it all up with a third verse and a line of philosophy like a blessing and a curse. How you're better off without her and how you wish her well. The truth is you still hate her, but that song would never sell. This is the part that repeats, makes you wanna download me. This is the part that repeats on your iPhone or on your PC. This is the part that repeats, or just stream it so you get it free. This is the part that repeats. Then you need a big whoa part on the end. Whoa, this is the part that we whoa. This is the part that we whoa. This is the part that repeats. And it ends on a 4-chord.
Right on. And then I'll leave you with this is a song I wrote for my wife. It's actually the title track of my newest CD, which came out, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a year ago today, so it's first birthday. She is a performer as well, and if you've ever dated or are married to a performer, I'm sure you are aware that there's a fair amount of waiting that comes along with it, waiting around after shows and stuff. So I wrote this when I was waiting for her to come out of a theater somewhere in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I remember that. It was a very cold night. And so I started writing this song rather than being impatient. Worth the wait.
She's the last one out when the show is done. There were others here with flowers. Now I'm the only one left leaning on the wall, left staring at the stage door. She may be late, but she's right on time for sure. It's worth the wait in the cold. When I see her walk my way, she's worth the wait in gold. And I would wait all day. She's worth the wait. She's the last one in. Now this search is done. There were others here before, but now she's the only one. Right beside my name, inside my everything. I may be slow, but her fingers in the ring. It's worth the wait growing old. When I see my wife she's worth her weight in gold. You know, waited all my life was worth the wait. So while we have this time, and we're of sound mind, let us seize this dance, and let us take this chance. It's worth the wait growing old, just to see my wife. Well, she's worth her weight in gold. You know, waited all my life was worth the wait. She's worth the wait. Happy birthday, baby.
Okay, Greg, your songs are very nice, especially they all are, but the one
Thanks,
that you
Ray.
wrote for your wife.
Oh, thank you.
Especially, and that's the title track, I think you said.
Yeah, it's the latest record. Came out a year ago today, actually.
Wow. If people want to learn where you're playing, how they can get your records, so forth and so on, where might they go?
GreggCagno.com, GREGG. Yeah, it's all on there. Gigs and links and downloads and social media. You know, I got something on everything out
all
there.
All that stuff. Well, Greg, thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's
I
great to be here.
I appreciate it very much.
Had a good time. Thanks, Ray.
So we'll be back in 2 weeks with my guest Sharon Goldman. See you then.